What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning back in and welcome back. This time, I wanted to bring somebody on who is real life doing it. Episode 1, we had Micah James, who's in the mortgage industry. Episode 2, we had Maine Williams, who's in the financial industry. And this time, we got somebody just like you and me who is corporate America, but the whole point of it and the reason he's here is because he is investing his passive income, or his earned income rather, into real estate and reaping the benefits. So thanks for joining, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, Cam. It's my first ever podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being in front of cameras. And
you see all the lights. And
I'm nervous. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, you want to tell people who you are? Who are you?
Yeah, like Cam said, my name's Chase, Chase Randolph. My wife and I operate a business in Cincinnati, where we're at now. It's called Randolph Rentals 513. So we
recently launched.
Yeah. So we've been investing in real estate since 2020, long-term buy and hold rental properties, and have seen benefits to it already. So the goal is just to continue to expand and grow the business, and yeah, just looking forward to sharing that growth along the way, and hopefully teach people a thing or two. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed the important thing. You see that bobcat on his.
Go Bobcats.
Go Bobbies.
Me and you, Cam.
Yeah, man. So you and your wife started investing in 2020 in real estate. Where do you get this money from?
Yeah, and her name's Julia, just for the record. So if I say Julia, that's my wife. If I say my wife, that's Julia. But yeah, so where'd we get the money? So in 2020, I guess I'll just go back to kind of why I got interested in real estate in the first place. I had just started my career out of college, graduated from OU in 2019, went to Chicago for training. Training's going well. I liked what I was doing. I still do. But my friend turned me on to the Bigger Pockets podcast.
Yes, that's where everyone started, it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like everybody starts there. So he sent me this link to a podcast. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll check it out. And the first podcast, man, I was hooked. So they started talking about house hacking, which is when you buy like a smaller multifamily property, move into one of the units, and then rent the other units out. The goal to house hacking is really ideally to live rent free. So the rent from the other units cover the entire mortgage, all your maintenance and everything. Kind of hard to find a deal like that. If you do, fantastic. They're definitely out there, but
especially now.
Yeah.
Back at that time, it might have been a little bit more feasible.
Yeah, for sure. Especially now, it's a little bit harder, but so just listened to that, got into that, started reading books, listening to more of those Bigger Pockets podcasts. So when I got back from training, back here in Cincinnati, we were living in an apartment, paying rent. And I said to Julia, I'm like, hey, I've been learning about this thing called house hacking. I think we should try it. Kind of explain the benefits. We could possibly live for free. And every monthly payment we make would be going towards our future. Yeah. And she was on board right away, which is awesome. So that's when we started looking for smaller multifamily property. We looked at a lot of duplexes, 4-unit buildings, and eventually found one.
Nice.
In Norwood, Ohio, if anybody who's listening is familiar with Norwood. Yeah. It's a suburb of Cincinnati. And so we bought that. We moved in, started collecting rent from the upstairs unit, and that was it pretty much. It was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Yeah, this is what I want to do. So, and it was fun too. Everybody talks about real estate like, oh, it's so much money. It's this, it's that. That's one piece of it. But I also really like the piece of being responsible for somebody's way of life and circumstances. So it's like, if I could make that unit a little bit better or make them feel safer in their unit, stuff like that went a long way for us too. Yeah. So from there, I was chugging along working the W-2 job. I'm in sales, as you know, and was making pretty good money. So I just saved a lot of it. I mean, there were certain periods of time I was saving like 70, 80% of my income, and then just about every year or so buying another property. So we're now up to 3 duplexes and then 1 single family home.
So what's that, 7 total doors?
7 total doors, yeah. We're living in the single family currently, but once we move out of that, we'll rent that one out.
Turn it into a rental, cool.
So yeah, so from 2020 to now 2024, that's kind of where we're at.
Mm-hmm. And does Julia, is she like hands-on at all with like the decorating and the aesthetic aspect of it? Or I guess, how do you guys balance that between you two, the workload of it?
Yeah, for sure. So when we started out, I was doing all of the renovations. So anything from flooring to painting to changing light fixtures, ceiling fans, like everything, gutting bathrooms, kitchens. I don't recommend that really, because it was a lot of time and effort.
But you learned.
But I learned a lot. Yeah. But no, she was right there by my side. You know, her job was usually like pulling staples. If we pulled up carpet, she'd go around, pull up the staples or help paint. So super helpful with all that. But yeah, now we're starting to move towards like hiring that kind of stuff out. Okay. Give us our time back, especially with a baby on the way.
Yeah. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. I don't really want to be gone, working till 9 p.m. and then long days on the weekends doing that stuff. So starting to hire more out. Yeah. Which is nice. So kind of a weight off the shoulders.
For sure. So that was the introduction to it, and we're going to double back to some of that stuff. But I guess just real quick previewing, what do you forecast like the next, year, 2 years for you guys looking like? I know you guys just introduced Randolph Rentals.
Yeah. So the next couple of years, really just the rest of 2024, I'll start there. Again, with the baby coming due like late April, early May, we're probably going to hold off on buying anything new. Okay. Just to get settled and get somewhat used to taking care of a baby.
Another life.
So yeah, another life. Yeah, no pressure, but try to keep it even keel here till like late summer, early fall. Okay. And then that's when we're going to start looking into buying more property. So that's the goal. So, and then from there, 1 to 2 a year, probably for the next 5-10 years, or really foreseeable future. Yeah.
Same here. It's interesting that, and again, we'll circle back around to this at some point, hopefully within the hour, going and looking at continuing to buy properties this year, as many people are scared of the market as it sits and in the future. So we'll circle back around to that. Yeah. But in terms of, I guess you talked about why you got into it. Over this course of 2 to 3 years, what has been some of the benefits that you've seen from it? Has it changed your life, or if it has, how?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. And again, back to like the money part of it is great and everything and all that, but I think more importantly, it's just changed my life, like personally, how I view things. My mindset's changed.
That's something you don't hear a lot. A lot of people talk about real estate and they instantly go towards either the monetary losses that they are scared of, or the monetary gain that they actually get from it. So I'm interested to hear what you.
Yeah, it's just the more you read and the more you try new things. I think trying new things is the most important, because that's how you grow. Yeah. That's how you learn as a human and develop your skills. Again, back to mindset, I think is huge. So just getting started, it was like, I'd have days where I'd just be stressed to the max. Things would happen and I would be super angry about it. It's like, well, why'd that happen? And so as I continued to do this, it's like your mindset shifts to, okay, well, that happened, but it didn't happen. It's not a personal attack on me. How do I fix it? How do we fix it? Who can I talk to that can help me with this? And that's, I think, just a life-changing thing in and of itself. And it's not necessarily a real estate thing. I think it's just
a life thing.
Just trying new things. Yeah. So I guess if you're out there listening, like, doesn't have to be real estate, but this obviously what we're talking about, but try something new. Learn and grow from it. And if it's not for you, move on to the next thing. Try the next thing. And then just grow from there.
Just get started.
Just
do something. Pick something, commit to it, try it, do it, and then recycle.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So as far as real estate specifically, what were your biggest challenges early on?
Biggest challenges, everything is brand new, and which is hard and scary. Yeah. So I remember we bought the first property that we were going to move into, and like I had no idea what to do. Like, we have a tenant now? Like, what?
I'm a landlord.
What do I do? So I just started Googling like leases and things, and how do you landlord? How do you be a property manager? But so I just printed off a lease and like scribbled in the address and every names and signed it. And then, but once you get that stuff under your belt, then it's like, okay, well, what could I have done to make that better or smoother? And then you just build on top of that. So yeah, that'd be the biggest thing. It's just everything's new, so it's hard.
Okay.
But it gets easier as you do it.
Yeah.
And you grow your network too, as you do something.
Maintenance people, financiers, things like that.
Yeah, so everything does get easier eventually. And another big learning experience is like you don't have to do everything yourself.
That's huge.
You don't. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I struggle with that, wanting to have my hand in everything that I'm associated with instead of just like delegating work.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. But once you do it, it's almost like addicting. It's like, okay, wow, our portfolio didn't burn down because I didn't go fix that toilet, or like life will go on.
My life did not come
and
to an end.
They probably did better than I would have done,
Yep. And my life was probably better because I trusted someone else and their capabilities.
Yeah, and that's back to the growth. It's like you have to trust people. But 4 years ago, I didn't.
Right.
But now I do.
Yep.
So it's just like, it's kind of a cool thing. Yeah.
Totally.
Are you doing everything yourself still?
No. This current project I'm doing, so I did it backwards actually.
Okay.
So when I first started, I was actually hiring people to do everything, actually everything. And then now for the current projects I'm working on, I'm ripping out the kitchen, ripping out the bathroom, doing everything 100% myself.
Yeah.
Just I want to learn the process. I want to make sure that I'm not getting taxed too much and make sure everything I know what I'm talking about thoroughly when I'm talking to contractors and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
100%. Yeah, and I guess it's a double-edged sword too. I say don't do it all yourself, but I think there's definitely a benefit to doing it yourself, at least one or two projects.
Yeah.
So that you can talk the talk, you know what to look for and everything. Yeah, but there's benefits to both, but I think a lot more benefit to not doing everything.
Yeah. So let's get into the weeds. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think.
He said maybe. I hope so. So okay, it's 2020. You said it's 2020. You're looking for your first duplex. You've listened to Bigger Podcast. Our Bigger Pockets podcast. You know what you're looking for. You're looking for your first duplex. How did you determine what the criteria were that you were looking for, and what were they?
Really, the only thing that I was looking for was, will the rental income from the property we're moving into, will it cover all the mortgage expense, will PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. And we looked at a lot of properties. I analyzed a ton of stuff, and nothing was really doing that.
I'm going to interrupt. How long did that take?
I think we started looking at properties like the end of 2019.
Okay.
Probably like September through December-ish.
Yeah.
So probably 3 or 4 months before we found the one.
Yeah.
Which wasn't, not that long, I feel like, in hindsight.
How many properties do you think you went through?
5.
You went through? Oh, really? That's not that many.
No.
Yeah.
That's like we lucked out.
Yeah.
I don't have some we went through 100 properties. No, it was kind of just pretty smooth.
Yeah.
We did we were under contract for a couple and they fell out, so it was still a lot going on. But
a little emotional roller coaster minor.
Big time, yeah, and a lot of learning experiences. But as far as how everything works, but we were just looking for that. Can this property cover all of our expenses? And we couldn't really find one, for where we wanted to live. So eventually our mindset shifted. Okay, so I think we were paying like $825 a month in rent. So then our goal changed from let's get everything covered to let's just beat what we're paying now.
Yeah. So
let's just pay less than what we're paying now, because rent was we got a letter that rent was going up. So it's like, okay, even if we could get $100 less than what we're paying, it's still a win. And I think we ended up, we cut that in half. I mean, I think with that first duplex we were living there, we were paying like $400 a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So still a huge win.
Mm-hmm. That's something that a lot of people don't think about either. If you're assuming you're familiar with house hacking and you're looking at house hacking, you don't necessarily have to profit or have a net profit on your first property. It's just beat your rent.
Yeah. Just beat your rent or get even, even if you pay a little bit more, you're still putting that into equity, which you can later tap into.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. So you were looking for something to profit on, couldn't find it, ended up settling for something that would beat your rent, which is still a win in the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a specific location that you were looking for?
Not really. Our apartment was in Madisonville at the time. So we wanted to live excuse me, somewhere like on the east side of Cincinnati.
Okay.
So looking kind of all over there. We did look at one like St. Bernard area, really just somewhere we were going to feel safe.
Yeah. Okay.
Is what it came down to.
Cool.
Yeah. And then eventually found that one in Norwood.
Mm-hmm. So in your underwriting process, and so for those, underwriting is essentially everything he's talking about, trying to take in the mortgage, taxes, expenses, things like that, and figuring out what your expenses versus your profits would be. In your underwriting process, has that changed much as you've acquired more properties?
It has, not really up until now.
Okay.
Because now we're starting to look at different financing routes because up to this date, we just saved our W-2 income, save that up, spend it, put it into a down, I guess invest it, not spend it, but invest it into a down payment with a down payment, buy a property, spend whatever we have left to renovate it, and then we're broke. And then do it. We've done that, 4 times.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, which it works, but man, it's not fun, really.
Seeing your account go from something you're smiling about,
yeah,
and
there
like,
have been there have been times like our third duplex where like we tapped everything, and there was nothing. It's like we didn't have anything.
We would not recommend that.
No, that's why I wanted to bring it up. Like we did what we had to do, and the money was kind of just burning a hole in my pocket. And
Julia's gonna be mad at that one.
Yeah. So I was like, let's just go look at this one. Come on, we don't have to make an offer. Let's go look at it. We ended up buying it, but yeah, I drained every single account that I had.
Yeah.
I think I had like $100 left, literally.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and but bought that. But anyway, that whole story. The reason I'm telling it is now we want to go like a more of a hard money route.
Okay.
Which we can talk a little bit more about that, but basically you spend you have your 25% down payment for a purchase price of a property, ideally one that's super beat up, needs a lot of renovations, and then either the hard money or private money would fund the rest of the purchase cost of the property, and they'll also cover the construction cost. But back to your question, do you analyze or underwrite differently? Now we have to account for the interest on those short-term loans, and then you also have to account for what it's going to be, the after repair value, because once your renovations are complete, your after repair value, you refinance based off of that, and then pay off the other
remaining
short-term loans. Yeah,
loan,
I feel like maybe I missed the mark there explaining that.
No, you didn't.
And then the second piece, you have to figure out if your future rents will cover the refinance portion.
Yes.
So there's a lot more moving parts and a lot more line items, I guess, that you have to account for when you're underwriting that stuff.
And typically you wouldn't even consider going hard money until you already have a nice little portfolio. Because you probably wouldn't have to.
Looking back, I don't see a reason why you couldn't. Really.
Why you couldn't go hard money early on? Okay,
for sure.
Keep your money in your pocket. Use somebody else's money.
Yeah, definitely. Just so you don't have $100 left in your bank account.
Yeah. The only thing that I would advise people to be wary of with doing that first is that the benefit that you have by using your own money first is that you get a better understanding for the process. You understand how to underwrite a property. Because, when you're talking a short-term loan, if you don't have a good grasp or you don't have your bearings around underwriting rental properties and understanding the actual expenses and how the debt moves, then that could put you in a sticky situation. So you just want to make sure that you're understanding fully what you're getting into before you get into it. And I think financing your first property yourself is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
But 2020 hindsight, it would have been nice not to have $100.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was a stressful time, but you learned. And back to the learning and the growth and everything. It's like that's the experience that you kind of have to buy. And one thing too, one of the properties that we were under contract for. Yeah. We were under contract for it. It appraised way too low. The seller wouldn't budge or come down at all. And it was funny. Our realtor called me, and she was like, "Hey, bad news. she's like, it appraised super low. And I was like, well, isn't that a good thing? Like, we're going to get a cheaper property. And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then the seller didn't end up coming down, but we lost, I think we lost our earnest money somehow, or like,
really?
Yeah. So we lost something.
Yeah.
And I don't know why now that I look back. I think I just forget, but we lost a chunk of change. Let's say like, I don't know, $600, $1,000. But I just kind of looked at that as like, okay, well, there's my, I'm paying for a course in real estate.
Yeah, no,
at
seriously.
that point. So even if you lose a little bit of money up front, like when you're just starting out, it's just you're paying for education.
And that's the best way to learn. Like there's so many courses that you can pay for, so many ways that you can try to learn, but the best way to learn is to get out there, like you were saying before, just go do it. And then once you go do it, trust me, you won't forget that mistake. You will not forget that mistake.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, it wasn't the earnest money. It was just we paid for the inspection and the appraisal.
Okay. Yep.
So it was like $600-$700.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's underwriting. So you kind of walked us through underwriting. So now what about screening for tenants? A lot of people, one of their big reservations is the work that's associated with, or just not knowing, like you mentioned, how to get tenants into your building, having to market it, create leases, things like that. What was your experience with that?
Yeah. Well, the first one, we just had an inherited tenant.
Okay.
So that was relatively, we didn't have to go and find anybody. We just re-signed a lease because she was month to month at the time.
Okay. That's perfect. I love month-to-month leases.
Yeah, it was good. But then moving forward, as we bought more and more units, I had to figure it out. Trying to think back to the first one. I think before we started marketing units, we got a software called Avail.
Okay.
It's like a property management software, so you can do anything from marketing the property. You can take applications online. You can sign leases virtually, and maintenance requests, all that stuff.
Nice.
Super nice software if anybody needs one. Avail. It's avail.co. Super nice. I think it's like $5.50 a unit per month.
Oh wow.
To use it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely reasonable. So we market them through there, and it just blasted off to like Zillow, apartments.com, Zumper, I think is one, all those sites. And then we just get leads from there. And then you follow up just through there. You get an email or whatever, follow up, give them a call, and then tour the property. I also market on Facebook Marketplace. That is hit or miss.
50-50.
You get about 200 tire kickers on there.
Yeah.
Like, is it still available? And you have to filter it a little bit more. But that's how we do it. And then as far as applications, it's just standard, like 3 years of rental history, 3 years of job history, credit score, background check, all that kind of stuff. And then from there, we'll schedule the tour first, and then we'll do all the background checks.
Any, what are you looking for when you walk someone through a property? Because if you live in a big apartment complex, you go for the typical walkthrough, and they're not. I mean, they don't use that as an opportunity to screen you. If you're looking at like a 300 unit apartment complex, they're more so seeing if you like the property as a potential prospect. But when you're a small scale landlord, it's a little different. What are you looking at when you're walking someone through one of your properties?
Yeah. And really that is one of the reasons I don't take applications unless they've seen the property, because I really do want them to like it. Because if they like it, one, they're going to probably stay longer and they're going to take better care of it. So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And then really just overall, are they a respectful person? Yeah. That's just about it. And then from there, we'll go and take it to the application phase and go through all that stuff.
I use that as like a little mini interview opportunity, to see.
And same too, for them, they ask me all the questions you want. Like I want them to be comfortable, because
that relationship's huge. Like you want the people who live in your building to like you, and you want to like them. Because then the conversation, the lines of communication are open. They don't have a problem texting you if something's going wrong, and it just makes the whole relationship 10 times better. Yeah. So,
100%. And then, once we find the tenant, they submit the application. If we both, feel like it's a good fit, we'll go ahead and sign a lease and get them moved in.
Cool. And do you typically go month to month leases, or do you do year leases?
We usually do 12 or 24 months.
Okay.
We've done both, and then it'll roll over month to month if they're not sure what they want to do.
Yep.
Usually we'll just re-sign for another 12 months.
Gotcha.
If things are going well. Inherited tenants, a little bit different. So if we buy a building with inherited tenants, we will actually, depending if they're month to month, we'll send them an application, just like if we were screening them and they didn't live there, and then just kind of do the same process over again. Yeah. Now, we just recently hired out a property manager for one of our buildings, and it's going incredibly well. I think we'll probably end up handing the rest of our portfolio to him.
They should not do that. They should hand it to Gunnels Realty Property Management.
We were talking about that yesterday. I didn't know you did property management.
Yeah. But no, that's another option though, seriously. So if, as you're scaling, or even for your first one, if you don't want to handle the day-to-day, there are people out there who will manage your properties, take over the rent screening or tenant screening rather, the actual day-to-day operations and the financials. And then you can just sit there, relax, and collect a monthly check. So that's an option too.
For sure. It's just, it's brain space, really. Because I read a book, I don't know if I told you about it, but it's called Who Not How.
I haven't read it.
By Dan Sullivan. I think it's co-authored by somebody else. But yeah, his big thing is, like, if anything comes up, like a problem, something comes up, instead of asking yourself, how do I fix this? Who can fix this? So, and it drills down deeper into a bunch of different concepts, but one of the concepts was like, what's the thing that keeps you up at night? What's the thing that you stress out about the most? Who can take that over for you? And for me, that was property management. It's not like a really super hard thing to do, but there's one concept in that book that really changed my life. And it was, just talking about decision fatigue. And over a period of a day, and we work W-2 jobs as well, and sales can be very stressful, as you know, but you're making decisions every single day, all day long. And to have that property management thought in the back of my head was like just decision fatigue to the max. So I'd be, at the end of the day, just absolutely spent.
Yeah.
And it wasn't huge decisions. It was never really usually anything catastrophic. It was just like little things that add up. So it was, okay, that's something that I need to find a who for.
Yeah. I know guys who literally, they have like 6 of the same outfits, and they wear the same thing to work every single day, just to limit the amount of decisions.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know him?
No, yeah. How'd you know?
He was the pioneer of that. I feel
really,
like. Not really, but like the one that mainstream. Yeah, he started doing that, and everyone's like, "Why do you do that?"
I think Zuck does that too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to think about what I'm going to wear. I have Facebook to worry about.
Yeah, and that's just crazy to think that many, like, if you're making 1,000 small decisions, which you are per day, how that can add up and really affect your day-to-day operations and your efficiency.
Yeah. So that's been huge. Just a big weight off the shoulders, and it's crazy too. You get into the weeds so much that you can't see the big picture sometimes. And just that one property, getting that off of my brain, I can see the forest now. Like I can start visualizing future decisions, bigger decisions of how we're going to scale and grow and move pieces around. Whereas before, like, I literally just didn't have the energy to think about that stuff.
Right.
So,
which, I mean, I'm glad you said, like, kind of zooming out, because that even takes us to the next point where in past episodes we've talked about, like, the real estate market, the ups and downs, and just investing in real estate as a whole. I think a big point there, and you and I were talking about this at one point, is zooming out. Like, everyone sees right now prices are high, interest rates are high, but in your mind, I mean, you just mentioned earlier, you're looking at trying to buy another property at the end of the year. What would you say, or how would you, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, kind of like we talked a little bit yesterday about, you can look at it as, if you're a stock person, stock market goes like this constantly. But if you ever see a graph, like, just Google a graph, stock market over the past 100 years graph, and it's up.
Yeah.
But if you zoom in, you see all the dips, the
downs,
valleys and the peaks and everything. But if you zoom way out, it's always going to go up. And it's really no different than real estate.
Yeah.
Obviously 2008 was a huge crash, If you zoom out, real estate 1900 to 2024, it's probably, I haven't seen the graph, but I'm speculating it's probably steady increase.
Yeah.
So we invest, when we started this, I guess, real estate journey, it's a 30-year plan for us. Mm-hmm. So if the market dips, if my property value goes down 10%, like I'm not stressed about that. If interest rates go up, it's fine.
But that takes you back to your why. You know, so like if you're looking to make fast cash right here, right now, I mean, yeah, you could probably do it in real estate, but that's not a long-term sustainable path to growth or a healthy plan, really. But if you zoom out, like you mentioned, and look at it from a 30-year bird's eye view, it's a net win almost every time.
Yeah. So. And that's somebody, you know, everybody's worried about risk in real estate, and depending on what strategy you're going through for real estate, is like, if you're flipping, yeah, I see if tomorrow the market dipped 20%, like the deals you have going on, the projects you have going on, you're going to take a hit.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's not good. But depending on strategy, there's not that much risk. I mean, I feel like, knock on wood, and and I've been doing this for 4 years. There's people out there who've been doing it for 40. So I have just a drop in the buckets experience versus some of those people. But I feel like the risk is kind of not that much if you're doing long-term buy and holds, because again, they could go up, they could go down. Even if rents like go up or fluctuate a little bit, either way.
Yeah.
In 30 years, I look at it, if I lost $10,000 in a deal, in 30 years, am I going to care that much?
No.
Probably not.
Right.
Because
and you'll still have access to everything that you put into that property, which is the whole equity conversation.
Yeah. And experience.
And it'll grow. So it's a win-win on most accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. What other strategies are you implementing? So are you all long-term buy and hold? You mentioned flips earlier. Are you all, for the most part, long-term buy and hold? Is that the strategy you guys are implementing?
That's a strategy. Yeah. Like laser focus. We've got the blinders on.
That's good.
And I think eventually, yeah, we'll get into maybe some flips. And if we buy a property and it's like, oh man, I didn't really underwrite this correctly, or maybe we can't get the amount of rent that we thought we could, flip it. And that goes back to just risk mitigation. Like, it's not that risky of an asset, I feel like, because if there's so many different exit strategies, you can sell, you can refinance, you can keep it long term. Like, there's so many different things you can do with it.
You can repurpose it depending on the type of property. As far as strategies, let's live in that space for a little bit. So there's flipping. We talked about that. So buying a underutilized property, fixing it up, making it look all nice and pretty, and then reselling it. There's long-term buy and hold, which is what we've been talking about this whole time. So getting a rental property, placing tenants in there on 1 to 5 year leases. I just signed a 5-year lease on a commercial space recently.
Nice.
And then what else? I mean, what else do you, midterm, short term, all that stuff? Right?
Yeah, midterm, short term. Did you say storage?
Storage, no.
Yeah, storage is a big one. Warehousing. I was talking to somebody. Did you say mixed use also?
No, but like, I have one. Yeah,
it's endless, man. Yeah, there's so many different
parking
strategies. Parking, yeah. They land.
Yeah. Land banking. So there are people who literally just buy land and they'll just pay the taxes on it. Obviously, you gotta have kind of deep pockets for that, but they'll buy land, just pay the taxes on it, and wait for development to work its way out there.
Yeah. So there's so many different strategies.
And that's the beauty of it, is that once you discover this space, you can go right, left, you can go anywhere in this space, and understanding kind of the landscape and being willing and open, as you mentioned, to learn and grow and just have fun in the space. It's a good space to be in.
Yeah. No, in that same vein, I think if you're just starting out, I think it's very important to just do one thing and figure it out and do it really well and master that one thing, and then start looking into different avenues. Because if you start going a million different directions, you're not going to get very far.
Analysis by paralysis. You'll sit there and do all the research in the world, look at all these different directions, and then never take that first step. So yeah. And
two, if you're constantly going back and forth from boutique hotels to small multifamily to commercial warehousing space, it's like you're not going to get the compound experience and knowledge in any of those things You know what I mean? You're just going to know a little bit about each one, and that's where I feel like mistakes can kind of creep in. So that's where we're at. We just want to do one thing, long-term buy and holds. When we feel like we've mastered that, maybe we look at flipping, or maybe we look at storage or commercial or something like that.
Mistakes. You mentioned mistakes. What would you say has been your absolute biggest mistake to this date in real estate?
I figured you were going to ask me that. I looked back at our portfolio, and I analyzed them all as if they were going to be like a Burr strategy kind of thing. Like if I were to have used hard money or something like that, none of them would have worked. I think I overpaid on every single one.
Yeah, but that's beautiful. Why? Because that talks about the risk aspect of it.
Yeah.
Overpaid on almost every single property that you have now, you think, and still going to end up coming out on top.
Yeah, and it's they all still cash flow, but and I guess we could loop back around to like, hey, should you use this special financing for your first or second deal? Maybe that's telling us maybe not, or just be better at analyzing. Maybe I wasn't that great at it.
Probably not.
But it worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably my biggest mistake, is just maybe just being naive.
And so naive in the sense of not underwriting correctly in the beginning.
Not underwriting correctly. Yeah.
In the beginning, biggest mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And underestimating renovation costs.
Ooh, yes.
That's a big one.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah. And again, really something that you just have to do to figure it out. Now there is software, shout out to Matt Hedstrom. He created a software with a partner called Rehab Estimator Pro.
You were telling me about this.
Yeah, I was telling you, I don't get kickback. I'm not really affiliated other than I just pay for it monthly. And I think it's awesome. So I want to spread the word.
Hopefully you can
Matt's an awesome guy
you can get
too.
a discount off this now.
Yeah.
So
Matt's an awesome guy too. But it's a software that you log into. It's called Rehab Estimator Pro. You type in the address. It pulls up the property. It gives you an ARV. And then it's like a big checklist.
ARV, after repair value.
After repair value. It gives you a big checklist. So exterior, interior, other stuff. You just go down and check boxes. So let's say full gut is a box. Drywall, paint, HVAC, plumbing, like anything, roof. And it'll pull up, and it changes the price based on the area. So you can pull up Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, California, whatever. It'll pull up those numbers and then spit out, hey, your renovation is going to cost $54,000. And so that's an avenue too. If you're just starting out, that could be a good way to start. And I've gone back and I've done every single renovation we've done currently. I've gone back and typed in, it's spot on.
Really?
It's crazy.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
going to have to check that one out. I'm literally sitting there spending hours doing quotes myself and typing in, trying to figure out how much stuff will cost. Okay.
And I talked with Matt at the OREA conference at the Great Wolf Lodge in November. And I was like, how do you practically use this? You know, it's good to analyze deals and underwrite and just click a couple boxes. But he said, go sit down with your contractor, go buy him dinner, whatever, show him the software, and just click through like a renovation you've previously done. If it's close to what the contractor would charge, like get on the same page there. Maybe you can tweak certain things. If HVAC costs $7 and he has a guy for $5, you can tweak that. Sit down with them, and then if you guys are both in agreement, it's like, hey, I don't have to bug you for quotes every single time I'm going to send an offer that needs renovations. I know what it's going to cost. Whenever we're under contract, we can touch base. Here's what I got. And you're both on the same page already, so then they can just go.
I like it.
So it saves time, saves effort for both you and the contractor.
Yeah. So, no, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So a good way to make sure that your costs are staying under control. And then also, like we said, just automating things, just really automating things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys see this as a retirement vehicle?
Yeah, 100%.
How so?
Yeah. Well, you basically you work backwards. So it's like, okay, how much cash flow do you look for per door? I think a lot of it's like usually $200 a door or something. And then you figure out how much you need to live comfortably. And then you just multiply 200 by however many doors or whatever you live comfortably divided by 200. And then that's how many doors you need. So that's kind of what we're working towards. Yeah, I still think we're a ways off.
And that's just your cash flow, though.
Yeah.
That's not even counting the equity that you've built up, the net worth that you've occurred over the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Along with 401ks and Roth IRAs and things. Yeah, but real estate's definitely the biggest part of our portfolio.
Okay. Do you believe in reducing the amount of contribution to like a W-2 401k for the sake of real estate?
I think you should always contribute to match.
Okay.
Like if your company contributes 4%, if they'll
Or
match
they
your
match
4% contribution or 6%, whatever, you should definitely do that because that's free money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think a lot of like financial independence people that don't do real estate will just say dump as much as you can. Max it. I think it's like $19,000 or $20,000 a year. Max it out, then get in your Roths and everything. But I just do the match, and then the rest goes into real estate. But there's no right or wrong way.
Are you involved in like stocks or anything? Like outside of your 401k and Roth and stuff like that?
Index funds.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not really individual stocks. Just index funds, high growth index funds.
Yeah.
Like just blue chip index funds, like high return companies.
Yeah.
And then we just started a college fund for the baby.
Isn't it crazy to think about that?
I know. It's insane. But yeah, 529C.
Okay.
Started one of those, so we'll start dumping some money into that. But yeah, the bulk of our income goes to real estate.
And what's beautiful about real estate too is it's something that's completely transferable, right? So when the baby comes, I'm assuming, unless you guys are planning on selling, I'm assuming that they'll take over you guys' real estate portfolio.
Yeah, if they want it. If they don't want it, then they can, we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's never going to be any pressure.
For sure.
Because it's not for everybody.
But the thing is, by that time, hopefully, you're talking about scaling. You'll be at the point where it'll be running on its own, right?
Yeah.
And then throw that thing in a trust and let them just collect.
That's the goal. And then, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, hopefully can just keep it going.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like generational wealth. Everybody talks about it. And I think real estate's the best way to get there.
Why? Because everything we just talked about? Why do you think?
Yeah. I mean, you got your cash flow.
Yeah.
You have equity, all the loan pay down. So if you get a loan.
Can you talk about equity real quick? Just, we throw that word around a lot, but another breakdown might be nice.
Yeah. So I guess where to start? Equity is just basically what the property's worth minus what you owe on it. So if you have a mortgage, you just subtract that. That's your equity.
So house is worth $300K. You've paid $100K.
Yeah.
Equity's $200K. Vice versa.
If the house is worth $300,000, you have a mortgage for $150,000. You have $150,000 in equity.
I said that wrong. Yeah.
No, it's all good. So yeah, but the beauty to that is you can force equity. So by renovating,
so you can increase the value that the house is worth.
Yeah.
So now the house is worth $400,000.
Yeah, and if you have, like, let's say you put, I was talking about this yesterday with somebody actually. Let's say you put $50,000 into a property. Now your property's worth $50,000 more. You didn't really just spend $50,000 on renovation because you got it back immediately in equity.
Yep.
So you just put your money in a different vehicle, and then you can tap into it with like a home equity line of credit.
That's what I was going to say. How do you get equity? So like when you say you didn't really spend it, you like got it back through equity. How do you access that equity?
Yeah, you can do either like a cash out refinance,
okay.
Which you just refinance and the bank will give you whatever excess is available after the LTV, which is loan to value, or you can do a home equity line of credit, so which is a credit card almost for your house. Like if you have, let's just say you have a paid off house, just for sake of easy math.
Yeah.
If you have $100,000 house, depending if it's your primary residence or if it's an investment property, investment properties I've found HELOCs for like 65% loan to value. So what that means is you take what your house is worth times that loan to value 65%, so 65,000. If you own it free and clear, you have access to $65,000 of that equity.
Meaning you can spend that $65,000.
Yeah, and you can buy another property with that, or you can use that for renovation on an investment property. You use it for anything; it doesn't matter. There's not really any restrictions. You can take a $65,000 vacation if you want.
That would not be smart.
Don't recommend that, but you can.
Yep.
Now, let's say you do have a mortgage on that. So let's say you have a $100,000 house. you have a $50,000 mortgage. You take that 100,000 multiply that by 65%, which is 65,000, minus your mortgage, 50,000. So you have access to 15,000. So that's how you can play around with that. Yeah.
Cool. Why did we start talking about equity again?
What were we talking about?
Oh yeah, it is awesome. Oh yeah, no, we were talking about
the benefits.
You
have cash flow, you have your equity, you have loan pay down. So what that is, if you have a mortgage, your principal. Yeah. That's the money that's actually paying down the loan. You have principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and your monthly payment. So your interest, well, really both, but principal, interest, like everything's paid from rent. So you're growing every month that you pay your mortgage. You're growing. You're paying that principal from rent. So your loan pay down, you're not paying for your equity. The tenant is paying for that equity.
So just to frame this for you guys, so you're getting free equity. And equity you have access to.
Yeah.
So every time you pay your rent, or every time you pay your mortgage, it's coming from the tenants. They're paying you rent. You're taking that rent, paying your mortgage. That mortgage is then paying for your equity. It's awesome.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's a cheat code.
Yeah. And in turn for that, the tenant's getting a nice place to live, safe, updated, renovated, someplace they're comfortable with, and owning property is not for everybody. So there's a place for renters. So I feel like
that's another good conversation.
It gets a bad rap, like owning property. Sometimes it's like, whoa, you're just, you're taking hard-earned money from somebody. It's like, well, they have a really nice place to live, and they would prefer to rent because they don't have to replace the roof ever. They don't, if the furnace goes out, we'll replace it for them. So it's a win-win.
That's a good conversation to have too. So renting versus buying. I had this conversation a lot in my last podcast. And now if you go pretty much anywhere on Instagram, you hear a lot of gurus talking about you should rent and you shouldn't buy. Then you have other guys talking about you should buy and you shouldn't rent. I guess, how would you frame those two for listeners?
Yeah, and with all this, it's a gray area, so I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
That's the most important part.
I will never, ever tell somebody that they should not rent if they want to rent, and I'll never say somebody should absolutely buy a property because it's not for everybody. It's just, what's your personal goal? Have you ever read I'll Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit?
I've listened
Sethi?
to it.
But his big thing is I think he rents an apartment. He's kind of in the camp of renting, but his big thing, his rich life is living in a really nice apartment. So he spends a lot of his money on a really nice apartment, but he doesn't have fancy cars. He doesn't have fancy watches or anything.
Right.
So it's like, if that's your thing, if that's what gets you going, go ahead and rent. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But if your goal is to get more equity and, boost your cash flow, whatever, buy property.
I think it's understanding what you want. I think that's the biggest thing. Like you were mentioning, like understanding what your goals are, what you want, and then developing a plan to get there. But to buy because you think you should buy, or to rent because everyone's saying that you think you should rent, at the end of the day, sit down, map out your plan, and then do your own math. And then from there, the answer will be clear.
100%. Yeah, you have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, obviously.
You're just going to keep going in circles.
There's no landing place.
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody, I don't know when, but they were talking about buying a house, and he's like, I still want to think about cutting the grass and stuff. And I'm like, if that's your biggest concern, like maybe you shouldn't buy a house, because there's a lot bigger things that are going to go wrong than you're having to cut the grass.
But even then,
you can hire that out too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so say you're in that paradox where you don't want to have to think about cutting the grass, but you also don't want to rent because you want to be able, you're very financially driven, and you want to be able to access your equity at some point. Then hire that out, right? So come up with a plan. It just takes you sitting down, thinking, and coming up with a plan. It really can be that simple.
Yeah, and two, there's so many ways to financial freedom. So if you're in the camp of I'm just going to rent, and if you look at, if I bought a house, I would have to replace the roof in 10 years. they're $7,000. I'd have to replace the furnace and the AC in 7 years. You know, they have a longer life than that, but
example,
worst case scenario, there's 10,000, 15, whatever. If I put all that money right now into a stock or an index fund, that would grow more than my equity maybe. And then if that's the case, then yeah, you're spot on. Like, make the decision that's right for you. That makes sense to you.
One thing that I will say grinds my gears though is I hear a lot of individuals talking about not buying property, but not sitting down and being willing to do the math that you just talked about. And so that's why I go back to that main point of you have to be willing to sit down and do that math. Whatever it is, sit down, write out your plan, and then actually do the math to figure out how you're going to get to that plan. And if you're not willing to do that, then I don't.
Yeah, it's a lost cause.
I don't know.
You have to do some work. You know, you have to figure out your numbers. But yeah, there's definitely no right or wrong way.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. It's life, and we just keep on living it.
Yeah.
So, next question for you would be market-wise. We talked about like zooming in, zooming out. This is, I mean, I know you're not some financial guy, some financial guru, but where do you see the real estate market going over the next? I'm going to ask you the impossible question.
Yeah.
As we come up on the last like 10, 15 minutes, where do you see the real estate market going over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
I don't know.
That's a good answer.
I really don't know. I'm not a financial guru. I don't read that much. I mean, I read a little bit, but it all seems to be just doom and gloom all the time. So it goes back to a concept in the stock market, dollar cost averaging.
Yep.
Where it's just instead of putting $10,000 in one time a year, you put in whatever, you know, $1,000 a month every single month, because any other month it might be up, might be down, but after you zoom out on that year and it's going to be consistent. And I feel like that's the same for real estate, but it's a little bit longer term. So like years. Yeah. So dollar cost average over 20 years is better than buying a ton of properties year one and then not buying for the 19 years.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, it totally does.
So yeah, I can't even begin to explain what it,
no, that's perfect,
like
because that tells the people that you are not timing the market.
Yeah.
You're not trying to guess. You're not timing the market. You're sticking to your plan despite the external environment. Yeah. That's the point.
You have to. And interest rates is huge. That's what grinds my gears a little bit. You were saying what grinds your gears. It's like, that's the biggest, I guess, objection to like buying real estate or buying investments. Like, well, the interest, and it's all that you can tell they've just been reading all the doom and gloom. Interest rates are up, but you can refinance that when they go down, if and when they go down, I guess. But two, if you're analyzing an investment property correctly, interest rate shouldn't matter at all. If it's cash flowing, you're not paying any of that interest.
Right.
The monthly payment from rent is paying that interest. So if it's cash flowing at 50% interest, I'll buy it.
Imagine what's going to happen when you refinance.
I know, seriously.
That, and another thing is, if you're waiting to buy for interest rates to come down, I promise you, like right now, prices are moderately high, interest rates are high. The moment that interest rates come down, I guarantee you prices are going to go up, because what's going to happen is everyone that's been sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come down, at the same time, all of them are going to jump into the market. And then you're going to be in a situation where now you want to buy, but it's going to be impossible to find something to buy because there's going to be not enough supply for everyone who's been sitting on the sidelines for the past year. So timing the market is not really the best route.
And it's going to be, I think it's going to be all 2020 all over again. Like, people just, there's no rhyme or reason to what a house cost. Like 2020 was insane.
Are you talking about the moment the rates dropped?
Yeah. And they dropped and prices skyrocketed. And then, so they tried to combat that by raising the interest rates, among other things. But the prices of homes didn't really drop. They didn't keep going up, but they just stayed pretty even keel.
Or no, they kept going up, but slower. Yeah.
So now what happens if the rates go back down? They're going to go. So it's like, I feel like people on the sidelines are waiting for prices to go down. I just don't see it happening.
And then also you talk about, outside of the whole interest rate thing and the whole economic environment, you also have everything that is going on with like just supply. the amount of affordable housing that's available. I was looking at a statistic from the National Board of Realtors, and basically they're saying that this number might be not right to the exact individual number, but basically houses that the median family can afford that's making $100,000 a year, we're missing 240 something thousand across the United States. So we're missing 240 something thousand homes that the median family that makes $100K a year can afford. Yeah. And that was as of like November 2023. So, I mean, it is hard to find affordable housing right now. And that's only going to get worse as houses keep becoming more and more expensive and more of the millennials get into the house buying age, right? Or the point in their lives when they want to buy a house. So that's something to think about too. Yeah,
it's crazy. My contractor that I've been using for a project going on right now, he was thinking, I was like, just asking you, how do you want to do this forever? What are your goals? And he's like, well, really, I'd like to start developing affordable starter homes. Like nobody's making 2-bedroom, 1-bath starter homes anymore because there's no money in it.
They're like hard to build.
It costs the same to get all your infrastructure, your plumbing, your heat, or not heat, but electric and everything, roads for developments. So that cost is the same regardless of how big of a house you're building. Yeah. So it only makes sense that developers are making mansions because it's more money. Yeah. So
there's statistics on that too. And just from what I'm seeing being on the ground as an actual real estate agent and realtor, I have a client now, and we just got under contract today. So claps for that. Congrats. But we literally don't they? But we literally were looking for them a house. Their price point was $160. We were looking for them a house for literally like 6 months. Yeah. And we were going out 2 to 3 times a week. So we were going and seeing 3 to 4 homes 2 to 3 times a week. They're FHA, so obviously there's different stipulations as to the condition that the house can be on for them to qualify for the loan. And after 6 months, finally found a home. Whereas we've got other clients at our brokerage who are looking for houses in like the $800K price point. And I mean, they're able to find stuff like easy peasy.
It's crazy. And another strategy too that we didn't talk about earlier is build to rent. Have you seen people doing that? Yeah. They'll just build these communities and brand new builds, and they'll just rent them out. So that's another thing that's going on, which is crazy. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it either way, but just something else to think about.
Takes capital.
Yeah.
It takes capital, but definitely a good strategy to employ. Yeah. Anything else you want to share with everybody that's listening?
Nothing really. I'd just say if you're listening to this to find some motivation to get started in real estate, I would say just start, educate yourself a little bit, read some books, listen to podcasts, reach out to myself if you want to reach out to Cam, anybody. There's so many people out there in the real estate community that are willing to help. So just take the first step. And there's one, back to Bigger Pockets, Brandon Turner always talks about MINS, M-I-N-S, or most important next step. So figure out, again, what your end goal is. That's the most important part. But then figure out what the most important next step is towards that. And it might be really tiny. It might be calling Cam, calling a realtor, go look at your first house. And then once you do that, now what's your most important next step? And you just build towards that goal, and eventually you'll get there. It doesn't have to be like just huge leap and bound next step. Just make it really small and then just keep working towards it, and eventually you'll get there.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, man. And one reason I'm so happy that you pointed this out at the beginning is even myself, I feel like I'm so focused on it, not just me, but everybody is so focused on the financial aspect of real estate. But one of the coolest things about real estate, whether it be rehabbing, whether it be just buying properties, is seeing something change, right? And the growth that's involved with that, and seeing a property itself, seeing a building grow and change, seeing a family who, there's a couple who just moved in, they just had their first child, and they're so excited about closing on their first house hack or something like that. And so there's so much and so many life lessons that are involved in real estate. And then once you compound that with the actual financial advantages of it, it's I love this space. So.
It's amazing. Yeah. I know me personally, I've gained more confidence growing this business than anything else in my life. And it's fun. Yeah. You can just feel the momentum going.
And having something that's yours, you know, like having something, a W-2 job is awesome. And they allowed you the opportunities to start your portfolio, but now you have something that is yours. Yeah. And that's cool. It's like a video game. It's like you got your own little kingdom.
100%. And too, another story that just popped in my head, just back to like the tenant livelihood and everything, like what property owners and landlords and property management companies are doing. Like, you're providing a really nice house for somebody, and of course you have, I guess, your quote unquote slumlords out there that which is just a shame that exists. But I was going to visit one of my tenants, just doing like a walkthrough real quick, and their lease was coming up, and she's got a couple kids, and she was like, hey, and I could tell she was kind of nervous, like, hey Chase, like, been meaning to ask. She said, are we going to renew our lease, or will you let us renew our lease? And they've been incredible. They keep, just really good people. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, I never thought twice about it. Thanks for bringing it up. And she, sigh of relief. And her kid came running in from his bedroom, and he was like, yeah, he was like freaking, he's like, this is the best place we've ever lived. Like, we moved over here, we had cockroaches in like our bedrooms and kitchen. Like, this is awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And it's just like, I have like chills right now, because we're making a difference. Yeah. And it's, you have the ability to do that. Yeah. So it's just pretty cool. That is awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. You want to give a shout out to Randolph Rentals? Yeah. Where can they find you? I guess if you want to find out more about me or contact me, whatever, reach out. I'm on Instagram, Randolph Rentals 513. Website recently launched, randolphrentals513.com. And then Facebook, just Chase Randolph. And be happy to connect with you. Good stuff. Appreciate it, guys. See you next time. Thanks.